I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and with me is today's special guest, Raf Mesotten. Many of you, many. No. I need to parse the sentence correctly. No, it's just another sentence. I wanted to. Never mind. Many of you will be familiar with CraftyRaf already from his performance previously in Team Belgium last year, and from his Twitch streams and from his Carcassonne YouTube videos. Hi, Raf. Great to have you here.
Hi all. Thank you, Alexey, for having me again.
So, first of you, as y'all may deduct already, sorry, it's my third stream this day. I'm just trying something, but I will get back my word faculties in just a couple of minutes, in most likelihood, or I won't. We'll find out in just a second.
I know what you're going to say. I'm not in the Team Belgium. Why is that?
Exactly. This is what I was going to say.
I was afraid for that question. Indeed, I did not qualify for this tournament. In the Belgian team, they do a qualification tournament for each big tournament. And the qualification for this tournament was one big round robin with, I think, 13 matches starting at the same time. And I was so exciting, so impatient and so stupid also to start all of them at the same time and finish half of them on the first evening, mostly losing games. And then I start pacing I start relaxing a bit more. I start taking my time for the other games. I won most of the other games, but it was already too late and I came 1 point too short. And as I'm the Belgian player with the highest win rate in official matches for Team Belgium, I'm obviously very sad that I did not qualify, but I hope to qualify for the next tournament. So, yeah.
So hopefully my viewers can extract something from that if your players try not to play 13 games at the same time. And if you're just viewers, you're still getting something out of this, because this means that you are not playing and you are available for streaming. And in fact, Raf is here with me today, but he also streams a lot on his own channel because there's a lot of games and he streams in English, for example. In tomorrow, you will be streaming Latvia's game, which I certainly appreciate. You know who you need to root for on your stream.
Obviously, yes.
Yes, and as my viewers may have already suspected, that was the word that I was looking for. Okay, then this stream today is not going to be entirely impartial. So we will start by simply introducing the two teams. Probably there's no better person than you to introduce the players from Team Belgium. Can Raf, you talk about who's playing today?
Yeah, sure. The first player is Obi Wonder. That's Johan Nuits. He is a Belgian champion of 2017. And because he was a Belgian champion, he went to the World Championships that year. And he was 7th at the World Championship, so not bad at all. He played very solid in his recent games for Team Belgium. And he is the player in a good shape at the moment. So that's why he's also the favorite for this game, I think. 60-40 maybe favorite, because his opponent is also a strong opponent. There's also a fun fact about Obi Wonder. His son is also in the Belgian team. Not for today, but the last game from Belgium was also with his son. And his son actually lost the Belgium final back in 2017 to his dad. So that was the finals, dad against son. And because there were an odd number of contestants in the World Cup that year, that son, we can call him Wolf Nuits is his name, he received a free ticket to go to the World Championships and he ended up 13th place there. So it was really great to see father and son in one World Cup event. So that's the first player. Second player is Anthology, Anthony Abelos. He was not in Team Belgium last year, but he played a couple of games for Team Belgium in earlier years. To be honest, I don't know a lot about him, but I expect nothing less than a victory today because his opponent is much lower rated. I know rating doesn't say everything, but I think Anthony should definitely win this one. Third player is 71 Knives, Karel Verheijden. Karel is current Belgian champion. Also, he's in great shape because, for example, last week, he won both his match against Tito Arce from Chile, and he won also the Belgian April tournament. In Belgium, we organize every month a tournament among all Belgian players, and 71 Knives or Karel won that tournament. So I expect Karel to win against Evil Hamster. Fourth player, Nice Dicer, Tom de Smet. He has nice in his name, and he really is a nice guy. Although he kicked me out of the online championship of 2022, so don't underestimate him. But there's a little problem with Tom today. I hope not a lot of Argentinians, or how do you say it, are listening, because he
No. I hope that a lot of Argentinians are listening. No, but I get what you mean. Yeah.
Because he texted me or the team a few hours ago that he will be playing from a restaurant his wife apparently booked. So that's not the best place to be in if you have to play an important match. But yeah, those things happen as well. And by the way, his opponent has the highest rating of Argentina at this moment, so it will be a very tough match for Tom, I think, for Nice Dicer. And last but not least, we have Gina, Nicolas Victor. Nicolas is the winner of the online and offline Belgian Championships of 2022. In my opinion, and for me personally, Nicolas is the strongest Belgian player at the moment, for 2 years now, I would say. But his opponent is also quite strong. His opponent beat Acetos last week from Greece. So the match will be very interesting, I think. And then I want to mention Nico as well. Nico Wellemans, or NW, with the screen name NW. He is the strongest player that you are missing for this match. He is also a team captain from Team Belgium, and he's currently celebrating his parents' 60th wedding anniversary. So that's why he is not playing today. But even without our captain, we should be able to win this match. And I feel like we are already in a must-win situation since we lost to Chile last week.
Exactly, and that was quite a clutch duel. I think it was 2-3, and it was lost as a result of duel of the captains. So Nico was playing against who I think is one of the strongest players really in this championship, Diego Acevedo from Chile with a screen name GDLK. Well, you don't need to think about them anymore. You need to think about Team Argentina. So I gathered some intel about Team Argentina a little bit, and the thing that I do like about Team Argentina over here is that their screen names are super nice and understandable. They actually put their names in the screen name. So Santi Blader, who is actually currently the highest rated player in on the Argentinian squad in the upper 500s, close to 600. That's for Santiago. In Erchu is for Hernan Badenes, and Evil in Hamster is of course for Evil, which is also his first name. No, it isn't. It is Matias, but he is actually the most. But it would have been cool if his first name was actually Evil. And you may have heard this combination of words earlier before on this channel. Is because his screen name has entered into Carcassonne lingo as a result of one tournament. I think it was Copa America, where he pre-built, in order to gamble when being behind in a Carcassonne game, 2 empty monastery spots, 2 empty 9-point monastery spots, and was able to draw both monastery tiles and score 9 points with 1 move in both cases. And that's why very often these types of situations where you score 9 points for a monastery with 1 move are commonly referred to as an Evil Hamster. So we'll be definitely trying to see at least one of his games to see if he pulls off an Evil Hamster or not. But also because his style is like super aggressive and risky, and he has were the opponent as well. But we're going to start the highest rated matchup. We're going to start with the highest rated player from Belgium, the reigning vice champion, Nicolas Victor, with a screen name Gina. Let me just refresh. They're probably starting anytime soon, I think.
Yes, they have started indeed. Let me see. First 2 tiles are on the board.
Oh, look at this. We have the Belgian captain in the chat. Hi, Nico. Hi, Julian. Hi, Afonso.
Interesting play there by Gina. I think I would have started a new city there, but...
Are you talking
with the
about the
starting
field
tile?
connection, right? I like the connection, you know, because what this move does with Gina, he is just reducing the variance in this game. He's just making sure that black doesn't suddenly get like 3 triangles and finish a city real quick. And also, you know, adding an extra monastery point to the process. So it does make sense as the play. Yep.
A road point, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did I say something else?
Monastery.
Oh, wow. You see, this must have been a Freudian slip because I love monasteries so much. Well. And let's see what the play with the green meeples does here, because it is a real decision here in the game. So he makes a move that I really like. He's starting a new city, it may seem, but what he really does is he wants to take a triangle and eat up all these shared 6 city points here on the left, and it's a threat that black would need to deal with. Probably he would need to place the tile up top, right? This, and actually now black is threatening the same thing. Let's say if black gets like an extender, then suddenly this city belongs to black. So probably if you green, you need to bail out in this situation. Take the triangle like this, place it outwards, and that's exactly what he's doing. And he's threatening to even block the black meeple if he draws one more triangle, which is why, of course, black will now draw the triangle and save his own city and point upwards. So already quite a tight battle brewing with these 2 cities. It will be a matter of who completes their cities first. Gina does not want to let that to happen, so he restricts the black city pretty severely because there's only 1 starting tile remaining, right? And if, let's say, green completes his own city and maybe gets a curve somewhere like this, there will be only 1 tile in the entire deck that can give black his meeple back.
Exactly. Black is now starting a road, while hindering a little bit the road of green. That's an okay move, I think. But I also liked that splitter tile top left to pre-build a road of his own, and also trying to annoy the city cap at the top a bit.
I like that move. I like that move too, yeah. So as you see, black now does draw a defense tile. This was a crucial move to play. On the other hand, it's now green who has the sensitive square over here, because black is only 1 blocking tile away, let's say a triangle or triple city, from tangling up 2 of green meeples in a situation where they need 1 and only starting tile, this city cap with a road that would fit into this square. So let's see if that actually happens. Green chooses to attack the city further. That's pretty interesting. I guess black would need to defend at some point, and maybe green is not so much trying to block the city, but to connect to the city. It will be worth 8 points, so it's something that's worth doing. Black, in the meantime, has an interesting decision to face. They should probably start a new city somewhere, and I like it. I really like this move. Of course, many players here, as black, would have done something like this and tried to share the city on the right, but in my opinion, this city on the right is not really that valuable because we can still block it, and if we don't block it successfully at black, well, we can connect later. So I'd say both players are playing pretty well so far.
Indeed. I have one question with the curve in the top right. Would you ever make a circle road in the middle, or is it too risky? And then you can, if you get the city cap to finish your little road, you can drop a field meeple.
That's actually interesting. I don't hate that move. I would consider it. My concern, of course, would be that it forces me to spend the city cap on just finishing my road, whereas I would like to finish to spend it on something else. And also, it would make my city a little bit more vulnerable because it would create kind of a blocking attack from over here. On the other hand, there is another move which I really, really liked for green that green didn't play, is just placing the curve at the bottom and breaking black's ring road like this. Interestingly, that you don't even need to break black's ring road because black is just happy not to continue his ring road. Black just spent, I think, too much time on blocking. He could have found an extra tile, and while now he doesn't get a blocking attack, he'll probably need to bail out, get a 5-point monastery, and be quite happy with that, and just wait for a city tile until he can block green's meeple here. But green at this point probably doesn't care about the road meeple that much. Green just wants to finish this triangle city, this rhombus-shaped city with another triangle, and just be ahead on the scoreboard. So possibly here, as green, I mean, yeah, you could, I guess, save your road. Maybe that's a good move. But there is certainly an argument to be made for just grabbing 3 points and letting your opponent block you. Because this road over here on the other side is still open, black will finish his city and then probably add some sort of blocking tile as well. Of course, green goes here with a safer route. They're not listening to crazy moves for Alexey because all Alexey cares about is content, but not, you know, making the best moves. Speaking of breaking ring roads, what do you make of this move over here with the straight line up top, Raf, that just black performed?
I would not have played it myself, I think. Maybe I would have extended the road that will be created when I finish my big city, being black.
Ah, that one.
For example. Or I could extend my road at the bottom and also add a monastery point to it. But on the other hand, in that case, you need the same tile in several spots for the monastery to complete it.
Actually, I don't think that's a problem at all because there's so many tiles like this remaining. And if anything, you want to have 2 monastery spots next to your monastery. So let's say if you're black and if you get a road tile over here, then you could just put so many monasteries. Well, not now because Gina drew one of them, which they should absolutely be meepling. And it does seem like it's a fantastic 4-point spot next to black monastery, which is not 3-point spot because, of course, you're adding 1 point to a monastery that already exists, but you're controlling 3 actually of your opponent's meeples, and even if they don't get blocked, and they very well might, the least that black is extracting from this situation is just simply freeloading off a couple of points and then having an easy platform to finish the monastery himself and equalize the monastery points. So loving this move here from green. Black is forced to just bail out and get his meeple back instead of maybe picking up one of the empty city caps.
This is great for Gina because he now gets a city cap. I would complete that city for 4 points and prepare a road end. Exactly the move he made in the game, and we will see in a few seconds.
Yeah, this is a great tile and a strong move here from green. I think green was temporarily considering other moves. Maybe he was considering just taking 2 points on the bottom right and somehow restricting this black's road to 1 tile, but this move is just too strong. And another reason why I think green may have been thinking, and I really like that reason, was for time management purposes. Because when you have obvious move, you want to be using your times for tile counting, tile tracking, points tracking, that kind of stuff, planning ahead. Because players get a 45-second increment, but the increment is capped at 3 minutes. So every move, your time increases by 45 seconds after you play the move, but it never increases past the 3-minute point. So really, it makes sense to think every move until the 2:15 mark, even if the move is obvious just because you could be thinking and planning ahead. And it does seem that's something that both players might be doing, especially the player with the green meeples who had a couple of sort of natural moves, at least natural for an experienced competitive player. So I'm definitely liking the time management in this pair. Let's say more in some other matches that we may have seen recently.
Yes, exactly. And we are working on time management in the Belgian team After every game, it's okay if you lose 2-0, it can happen to anyone, but not if you end up losing within half an hour, for example. That's something we are very sensitive about, and you will say to that player, don't do it again, take your time to think. It's okay to lose, but not that quickly. You have to think and reconsider your moves.
Exactly, I'm completely with you on that one. In the meantime, green draws a huge tile. Black was about to block it with a monastery, which block green's road with a monastery, which I think is a waste of a monastery if you ask me. But just in time, green drew a 6-point monastery tile, and now green completed his city, and green is massively ahead in this game. So in order to come back, of course, black will need a couple of things for him to happen. First of all, he'll need to get one of these tiles that fit into the upper city. Then black will be at 15 points and with the same number of meeples. The problem is there's only one such tile remaining because green just drew one out of the 2 remaining tiles, and the third one was right over here for quite a long time. So it's certainly one of the critical tiles to view in this game. And black could also just simply finish this 8-point city and then draw some city cap. Like, black needs a lot of nice things, or at least a couple of nice things for him to happen in order to start scoring evenly with green. And I think there were a couple of moments where black could have scored a little bit more efficiently. Black drew 2 splitters and kind of placed them a bit too far apart from each other, if you ask me. Well, now, fortunately for black, black managed to complete a monastery, drop a 6-point farmer, and probably later on he'll be looking to loop around this road like this, completed with a curve, straight line, getting 6 points and a meeple back. So don't discount black just yet from this game.
Certainly not. And now I would do something like this, restrict that field. I know you can still build cities at the right, but it's okay to place a curve there and restrict not only the road a little bit, but also the field. I like that move.
So it's actually a triple purpose move, adding 1 point to your monastery, restricting the field, and also taking away a lot of road dents from your opponents. In fact, there's only one good road dent tile. It is the triple crossroads like this. Of course, there's still the road monastery, but they are better spots for a road monastery, so it's not what black wants to be drawing necessarily for this square. Black really wants the crossroads. As for the field, there's still this one square on the right where black can drop a city cap perhaps and justify his meeple investment. Then he'd have, let's say, 9 instead of 6 points. But it's really one tile away from being blocked completely. We'll see if green actually follows through with this plan or not.
Yes. And now, difficult decision for black. Do you save your own meeple? And do you bring a green's meeple one step closer to finishing? Or do you do something else? But what can you do is the question. I don't think there are a lot of moves to make here. I cannot see any of them. So I would just continue my road, I think.
It would be helping green a little bit more than helping black. So actually, I like what black did here. Black found a somewhat productive move. Yeah, it could be blocked later, but to be honest, at this point, Gina couldn't care less. This monastery isn't here for getting meeples back. This monastery is just for getting points, whether or not this meeple comes back or not. And in fact, the power of the monasteries comes not from the fact that you can get a meeple back, but from the fact that all these 6 points, they come in one move. That's the power of monasteries is simply tempo.
Indeed. Keep in mind there are still 2 splitter tiles, not the 2 that are on the board, but the vertical splitter tiles, or how do you call them? And you can score, for example, 4 points for the city cap in the middle of the board, but it could also become a huge field, maybe.
That's true. I certainly see somebody at some point. Actually, somebody will do this. I pretty much guarantee you that. Whoever draws this tile over here If they don't have any tiles open themselves, the one that fits in the center square, and there's still 3 of those remaining, they can just go over here and drop a farmer for at least 6 points, possibly 9 if Black gets his city back, possibly 12 if somebody scores, as Raf said, for this city cap with the vertical city splitter. And this field will be hard to attack. It could actually expand even further over here, and that would be an excellent farmer. So of course Black wants to Black wants to do this. If Green does this, then that would be a big problem for Black, because Black's field meeple has already been tangled out over here on the 6-point field, which is not that lucrative. I'm surprised, by the way, that Green didn't drop a farmer over here once finishing his road. Certainly looks a lot like a farming spot. It will be worth at least, well, it's worth 3 points now, but it could be worth 6, 9, 12, you name it. All of this stuff will come back later. And look at that.
That's a nice move. We will see in a second.
Exactly. Black is now taking advantage of Green's stinginess, and Black is now saying, you know what, all these field squares, if there's no field meeple, I'll be taking away for myself. And there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 tiles left that fit here that give Black the field and the 4-point road and the meeple back. But in the meantime, of course, I'd pick Green in this position here any day of the week, just because Green is up ahead 22 points on the scoreboard. We need not forget that. They just got 4 points from the upper city. They started a new city. They did not use the splitter for this city because, well, they didn't have to, and it's not in their interest to create big fields or anything. They just want to get some points, do not engage in any direct confrontations, and that way they will probably win the game. So Black, in order to catch up, would need either a little bit of luck, he would need some meeples back soon, or he would need some help from his opponent. Let's see if the player with green meeples bites.
And Black is pre-building a city at the right, but Nicholas can maybe take it.
I would have. I totally would have. I think he had to, but he didn't. I guess his idea was to just get on the farm as soon as possible. And he would have finished the city, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have already finished the city.
And he gets 4 points now, but there's a problem with this move, in my opinion. And that's something I'm quite aware of in my own games, I think. As you said, you're up a lot of points in the game as green. So the only way you can lose here is if you spend your meeples in a big field fight and you lose a field. So I would have done something else with that city cap, because there are other field connections from the middle of the board, for example. You can right above the big city in the middle, at the right, you can, for example, put a straight line down with the field meeple. And with the curve Black needs to connect to the field, he can connect 2 of his meeples to the field. And then you have to fight again for the field being green, but you don't have to fight for the field here. Just start a new field by yourself. And why not take 4 points? Okay, he wanted to annoy his opponent, but yeah.
It didn't work, and it does look that Green is sort of trying to lose this, right? There was a secure win path for Green, and now the situation for him is... I mean, I'd still prefer Green just because of the monasteries and the scoreboard, but now the game has not determined, and it does look that Green did bite, creating these flips, these opportunities, and Black will now happily try to exercise his meeple majority. Of course, he's probably not very happy with this tile, even though it's an amazing tile. He just gets more meeples back, which I think is a bit impatient. It helps Green more than it helps him, and doesn't meeple the monastery.
Yes,
so Green, of course, yeah.
If your opponent has less meeples than you, you should not give your opponent a meeple back, even if you're getting a meeple back yourself.
Exactly. Well, where's the straight line? Somebody has to do it for the content, right? It's either green or black, but we're currently flipping for the straight line. Whoever does this first, there's still there's only one of those remaining, actually, so it's actually easier said than done. Black could do a variety of things. Black could say YOLO and try to finish a rhombus city like this. I don't hate that move because there's surprisingly few blocking tiles, but it's a very difficult move to find, I think, just to realize that this city is much safer than you think. The rhombus-shaped city on the right, it's guaranteed 5 points, and it probably is gonna work. In the meantime, though, a critical tile has been just drawn. I need to make the game slightly smaller so that you all can see. This tile, green got his 25%er and managed to get the tile that black needed. So this partial block over here by green turned out to be a 200 IQ move. Not only was it a delay that forced black into a temporary meeple disadvantage, and the temporary meeple disadvantage has forced black into some inefficient moves, like maybe this one with the monastery and like well, a bunch of other things. Well, now it's a complete block, and this guy will get trapped with just 3 meeples. That said, black is not lost even after this, simply because there's this big field up for grabs for anyone.
Indeed. Indeed. And the tile to finish the city in the middle is still available. 3 of those, I think. Wow, black finds the move.
Oh, look at that. He goes for the content. Nice respect for that. Maybe black is stream sniping, but, you know, he'll probably find the move on his own. But green is the first one, of course, does not get greedy, does not just take 2 points. It's absolutely the time to drop the farmer, and this makes it very, 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 very hard for black. I mean, what can black even do? Probably now black will need to go into something awkward, like dropping farmers here on here. But in the meantime, probably he will need to do some protections for the city that he has pre-built. Maybe just putting this tile over here is a little bit more valuable than just getting 2 points. Although, ideally, actually, the ideal tile for black to draw right now would be not a triangle. It would be the one remaining regular city cap. And it's something that black must have thought. If he goes over here and drops a farmer like this and then connects through his city. Black here doing quite a gamble, I think. I think when you're far behind, you don't want to be necessarily blocking your opponent. You want to be either doing something for yourself or, you know, scoring for roads. But it seems to be working out so far because Gina is not finishing his city, is not getting his meeple back, at least during this move. But is it possible that black may have just simply delayed the inevitable? Green's probably going to put the city cap over here, and now the threat is the same. Green is still threatening to finish his city, with the one difference that it will have many more points. Now comes a key decision for black, and I think black should spend a good 30 seconds on this. It's a strategic decision. Do you just try to keep the fields disconnected? Or do you connect the fields, get the meeple back, because, I mean, you could use the meeples, and then try to fight for this field as hard as you can elsewhere. Over here, through the city, over here, through the road, over here, through a city cap, I guess, or the one remaining vertical city splitter, which I think is still in the deck, or, you know, somewhere like this through the straight line. It does seem that there are a lot of spots to attack this field, so probably if I'm black, I do place this tile over here. But black doesn't. Black instead takes another 6-point field, which I'm not sure how I feel about. What do you make of black's strategy here, Raf?
No, he's changing strategy. I would not have done that. You will need the meeples to fight for the big field. I don't think you win with, for example, two 6-point fields. For example, with this tile from Gina, okay, it's easy to find this move to complete the city. You will do it in seconds. But if black got that tile, for example, he could have finished the city in the center, meeple the field, And with, for example, the crossroad with the city cap, grab some extra points from the circle in the middle and connect the field.
Oh, wow, that's actually a neat idea. I wonder why Gina didn't do that.
Yeah, with the previous style, not with this one, but
Yeah,
with the
with the
previous style.
exactly.
Yes.
Black is now blocking his own field entrance. I'm not sure I quite understand Black's strategy, and because Black did not defend earlier, Black is now losing his meeple, unfortunately. Yeah, so it does seem that we may have seen a bit of a panic here from Black, because his game was still live. It was an uphill battle, but it was an absolutely doable win condition. It does seem that Black has committed to just not getting his road meeple back, but then again, where are the big features? How are you coming back into this game? That's the big question that needs to be answered. And oh, look at this Green's move. So he's still connecting the fields. He's still making sure that this meeple scores. The only difference is that this guy is not getting back. I mean, this also means that Green doesn't have a 2 versus 1 majority, but at this point it doesn't matter whether you're losing -10 or -30. Like, you might as well lose -30 for a chance to win +1.
Exactly. Winning the game is all that matters. Meanwhile, Ontology won his first game, so we are quite happy with that. Also, 71 Knives won his game. His first game, at least. And other games are still ongoing.
Well, yeah, it looks like this one's definitely headed Gina's way. So we might have to start picking our next pair to look at. Also, I'm kind of surprised. Look at this move over here. So we have this, but without a farmer. Did really Black decide that this farmer is not worth fighting for? No, Black decided that he needs quick points first before he can do anything else. Oh, but Black didn't do the thing. Black got the tile, and we were talking about this the whole game, and like Raf suggested it so nicely. You have a 6-point field, and you could have tried to win like this, and it would have almost worked. Actually, no, it would have totally worked. No, it would have...
Exactly, yeah.
So Black just missed an opportunity to snatch to just score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to just get an 18 points field for himself whilst doing everything with tempo and scoring extra 4 points for the road in the process. Instead, he goes for this sort of inefficient move, and he will have to just be satisfied with a 9-point field instead, which of course will not be enough. I mean, look at this beauty. Had to be played right there. Can you imagine? Okay, I'm gonna try to like draw some arrows for the stream, and as a result, this guy will be walking all the way through here and into this field. 2 guys, this one and this one. That would have been such a beautiful play. That would have been a candidate for Carcassonne Move of the Week segment, but it won't be because it wasn't played.
I guess I cannot win Move of the Week. No.
I'll think about this, because to be honest now, I haven't really seen any interesting suggestions, and just to add insult to injury, now Green takes over the field completely that sort of Black was trying to prevent for such a long time. And it does seem to me that the Belgian player, despite making the Belgian commentator sweat a lot by opening up this big field and probably unnecessary variance, if you ask me, in the field fight, Green managed to, I'd say, outplay Black here.
Yes, very well done.
All right, and for our next game, I think we have 2 options, and they're both still playing. So we can either look at Sunny Blader, the Santiago Iniguez, the highest rated Argentina player, or we can look at Obi Wonder versus Pablo Blanc, who is probably the tightest match. Both players are like 550 something. Which one do you prefer, Raf?
Well, for Nice Dicer game and Cantiblader, it's the last tile now. So I would go to Obi Wonder. It's still 4 tiles left, so we can maybe make something of it.
Alrighty, and then we will be able to just simply probably start watching the next match of Obi Wonder, and then after that we switch to Sunny Blader if there is even a third game at all. By the way, I mentioned Move of the Week. I assume many of you have seen one of my latest videos, which I published on Monday, which was the Move of the Week from Dr. Taihan from Team China. But I'm looking for suggestions for this week's Move of the Week. Obviously, there are many matches tomorrow, and probably the Move of the Week is going to happen then. I will be not able to watch all of them, so please do send me your suggestions. We get word from the chat, thank you, João, that Sunny Blader has indeed won and has asserted their status as the rating favorite. So you see, guys, Elo does mean something. Obviously, I'm biased here. I want Elo to mean something.
Yeah, and what we also learn is going to restaurants doesn't win you games.
Yeah, so this food better be good.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he not only loses the game. I hope he not loses his wife as well because of playing. But let's take a look at this game. 14-point advantage for Obi Wonder. Big city. Is it still finishable? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think still one Dorito tile is remaining to finish it or not.
I think so. I think you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, one is there.
So that should win him the game. Pablo saw it. Yeah, nice move. Probably there's no city gap left.
Is that the Move of the Week?
Could be.
If that wins the game, then stuff like this. He must have counted that there are no city caps remaining.
But why take a 3-point road there when you can meeple an 8-point city?
Maybe he wanted to preserve his last meeple for best.
Okay.
Didn't work because there were there was the splitter remaining. So in fact, this move did force green into 50-50. So let's see if that would have been enough. Actually, how much was the city? 24. So he got like 15 extra points. He would have gotten. Ooh, It does seem to me that this tile was a huge thing because it's a huge swing. Because had Pablo gotten the city on the last tile, he would have gone over here, finished his own city, and drop a farmer for 6 more points. So this will be rather one-sided for green, but the game was actually closer than it may have seemed, and Belgium seems to be almost wiping it across the board. Well, not really, except for Sunny Blader's game. So now all the rating favorites have won so far, even the slight rating favorite with like plus 10 rating points. So quick decision to make. We stick with this duel, or do we go to Sunny Blader's duel?
I would actually suggest Anthology's game, because they play quite fast, and I think it will be over in a few minutes. So maybe we can stick with this game for a few minutes and then switch to one of the others.
Alright, see, well, then I guess we'll have to hope that the score is not 2-0. Because, like, ideally, we want to be viewing games from the start, right? Because it's kind of just very difficult to make sense of this.
Okay, but then...
I think I'm changing my mind real quick.
Obi Wonder is just fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can pick anyone.
Yeah, let's go Obi Wonder, because I just feel that it has been a long day and it will be a bit of a mess for me. And if Mingale manages to tie her game, then we definitely will have to look at the decider.
I can now see that Obi Wonder and Nice Dicer haven't started yet.
Okay, I should be changing my mind less often. So, if that's fate, then I guess you're just watching.
Or 71 Knives is also possible.
Anthologies. Too late. I already.
Too late. Okay.
So we're gonna be making sense of this position, where
An evil hamster is happening, and it's for the wrong player, because
Yes,
evil hamster is
exactly.
not this game.
What is this?
It's a nice 12-point field, and growing for Mingale. Mingale is in the lead. Ontology is playing quite fast. Two
To his
monasteries.
detriment, I guess.
Yes.
You see, but there's so much variance in this game. Because, like, if Red gets the monastery with the road tile, he immediately gets 2 meeples back and 27 points on his scoreboard extra. So that's something nice. On the other hand, if he doesn't do that, well, he's stuck with a long-term meeple disadvantage. Probably not likely to survive this field fight. He would need to get extra creative if he wants to survive it. Well, now he tries to equalize the field, which is interesting.
Yes, but do you need a field here? It's easier. It would have been better, I think, to equalize the other field.
Yeah, probably. Just because it's bigger.
Yeah, put your monastery at the right, so you hinder the city cap a little bit. And if your opponent finds the tile that she has now, she will be hesitant to place it in the center, because the field will get connected.
Yeah.
But she's not doing it yet. Would you do it?
Not sure about this, actually. Yeah, kind of like with this monastery thing, what I'd love to do is pick off this road, but it's my last meeple, so I don't want to do this.
What you could do, but maybe that's way too adventurous, is place it right above Red's city that is about to be finished, and to connect both fields. In case Red finds the tile that finishes his city. But maybe that's too far-fetched.
That is actually quite interesting. Here, 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 here. And then just try to really just basically work the meeple majority.
Yes.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, the scoreboard, okay, she's like plus 13, but here's 16 points over here. So she's minus 3, and what she has going for her is the meeples. Now, a lot in this game will depend on whether this city is completed, and it does seem like it's almost Red's only shot. But if Red does complete it, then suddenly Red has the meeple advantage. And maybe Red manages to block this meeple somehow, and then drop a farmer, and then try to fight, and then on his last move drop another farmer, something crazy like this, and then just win the game with plus 10 or so. She must be stream sniping, or
okay.
you have a lot in common here. That actually was a very nice and difficult find. I think I did not see this opportunity, to be honest, because, you know, I see the road end. I'm a simple player. Monastery, last meeple. Cannot meeple monastery. Road, you can meeple road. And I was just trying to look for 2-point spots, and I didn't even think of this. Moreover, she'll be able to do everything with tempo. Like, for example, let's say if she draws another crossroads, then she'll be taking 2 points over here. And then everything will be pre-connected, and it does seem to me that Red is quite close to being toast, or is he? Because this move, sacrificing the 2 points just to initiate this blocking attack, it is indeed quite annoying here for Blue to have her meeple threatened, but there's still tiles that fit here. There are no starting tiles, but there is one city cap with a crossroads, and there must be some daggers remaining. Yeah, I see one dagger that fits here.
Connecting the field, but can you win a field fight when you're 2 meeples behind? Or 1 actually?
It's temporary. It's temporary. Probably you can. Wait. Who's 2 meeples down?
No, red is...
oh, yeah.
But I'm talking about the meeples in the center from the monasteries. And of course, blue will not get one meeple back as well at the bottom.
Yeah, it does make sense as well.
But of course, the two meeples in the city at the north, they will be not coming back soon. But yeah, what would be Red's winning plan here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still possible to connect the city at the north. So Red will get 16 points for his monasteries compared to, and also 5 points for the city currently, and 5 points for Blue's cities. So Red is ahead by 16 points, but 13 points behind the scoreboard and a field behind. I cannot see a victory path here, to be honest.
Well, now it does seem that Blue is giving something for Red to work with. So this last meeple, very adventurous. Will that be enough for her? Did she calculate this? Because it is a 7-point road, but it is your last meeple. And it does seem that if she's not getting this meeple back, well, where does she getting the meeple back from? There are no city splitters to split off this tile. There might be, well, there are Doritos. There are 2 Dorito triangles to go over here and kind of try to build up her city like this. But meeples, I ain't see that coming. And maybe there is some sort of way how you can start utilizing your temporary meeple advantages, Red, just simply dropping city caps, trying to score quick points, and at the very last moment, either simply equalize this field on the right, or just simply not finish your city. That's also possible in some cases. Yeah, nobody said that Red is forced to finish his city. Now especially it's an issue because Red drew the wrong kind of dagger, but it's also the right kind of dagger. So Red is happy with this tile because Red drew the dagger that Blue needs over here, and Blue is now 1 tile away from getting blocked. And maybe Blue, in order to save a 50% chance of her getting a meeple back, would need to place a curve like this just to make sure that there's at least 1 tile, that there's exactly 1 tile that fits here. Moreover, this move threatens a block, so where do you defend exactly as Blue? Do you go over here to make sure that you can continue the city with a Dorito? Or do you go here and want to preserve the 50% chance of getting a meeple back? Or do you just say YOLO and simply add 1 more point to your road and just hope to hold on?
Good question. I'm thinking why Red made that move, because it's easier for Blue. For example, now Red can take 4 points, but it's in fact only 1 point because it is in Blue's field.
Not yet.
Oh,
there's still this connection.
Yeah.
So maybe now the next move is a farmer or something. So now, if you are Blue over here, do you add 2 points to your city up top, or do you just simply connect the fields and prevent these shenanigans from happening? She goes for the greed.
Yeah, but that's.
And look at this. This is precisely the stuff that we're talking about. That's how you utilize your 1 versus 0 meeples advantage. Exactly. Had Blue had a meeple, these sort of moves would not be possible. So Blue does draw a 4-point tile for her, which is great. And now this is the key decision here for Red. Do you or do you not finish your city? If you do finish your city, that's going to a lot of points for you. You get a road, and then maybe you hope to attack the field. But then in that case, you will be winning only if you connect to the field. But will that be even possible? On the other hand, he chooses not to do that. He chooses just to take the 6 points. Said, you know what? We're going to keep the field small. I'm just going to try to chip away at that meeple. That meeple advantage. Look at this move now. Blue is threatening just blatantly to finish her city, and this is still possible because there is 1, 2, 3, 4. But where's the 5th one? I'll tell you where the 5th one. It is in the deck, or maybe even in Blue's hands. So sort of as Red, you kind of have to, I guess, eliminate this threat. But this is one valuable move that it takes you to do so. Of course, as Red, you want to be dropping a farmer here and completing this connection as soon as possible before blue unifies the fields and make this impossible. So it's a bit of a decision here for blue. Do you go for the field connection now and then just gamble and hope that your opponent doesn't get the city cap? That's a dubious gamble if you ask me. Or do you just take it secure, block the city, and then wait for another day before you can win? So certainly a big decision here for red. He must be calculating points in order to do that and make this decision.
You can do this actually with a field meeple, because I think there's still one dagger remaining to connect to the field.
I think no daggers of any kind. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this was a crucial tile track, right? It was drawn, right? And he had faced this. He was facing this decision.
Right.
So a wise choice here by red. Maybe he was recounting the tiles, recounting the point, recounting the win conditions. Raf, you are a savant. You know why? Because you picked this game that I didn't pick, but this is definitely one of the most interesting games I have seen in a while that we can follow. So I will be listening to what you say from now on.
Okay, then I will do my preparation then.
Exactly. And I wanted to skip on that?
Yeah.
Look at this, and the thing happened. The threat worked. So red would have been able to connect it to the field, but red was forced to spend a move on blocking. And by the way, this blocking was justified because look at this. Green is not playing in this game, but blue did get her city cap. But because red was forced to spend a tile on this, red will now be getting 6 field points over here instead of 9. What is this blunder? Is this the move of the week? This move gives blue extra points. Hello?
3 extra points, yes. So this is not a good move indeed.
It's a 2-point move instead of a 6-point move that you could have played. I think both the players may have hallucinated the field. If you've seen my recent video of Carcassonne Blitz, I'm not gonna spoil you too much, but let's say I empathize with people who hallucinate with fields. But with 2 minutes on the clock, you gotta double check, my man. So we know that this blunder cost red 4 points, but did it cost him the game? We will find out in just a second.
It's gonna be very close.
So, to the greatest relief of red, I'm going to say, blue is winning this by 5 points. And you know why? Had red not made this blunder, red would have been losing by 1 point. But imagine if the game were closer, this would have been such a painful defeat. So yeah, that's certainly a massive blunder right here. But we are going to continue with... Okay, I'm just listening entirely to you because nobody in the chat is suggesting anything. I guess people are just happy to watch, I assume. By the way, if you're happy to watch this, do meeple the like button. I do see there's quite a lot of for you, and like the like buttons do a lot for the algorithm. And also do please subscribe if you intend on watching content like this more than once, because there's 9 more weeks left in the championship, and I'm streaming every single one of them, you bet. But Raf, whom are we watching next?
I'm taking a look at the Obi Wonders game, but I'm afraid he is quite far behind already.
So you only want to watch your teammates win. I see that.
We can take a quick look at 71 knives. Only 10 tiles left there.
And Joao is also suggesting 71 knives as well. Let's just go here, and I will take care of updating the score in favor of the Argentinian underdog. What did you say at the beginning, Raf? Oh, you know, I know that Anthology will take care of business. His opponent is much lower rated.
I didn't say I will. I know he will take care. I said he should take care.
Well, yeah,
that's the difference.
I know, but he's not doing that. He's not doing that so far. And also, by the way, like, to her credit, I mean, like, that part of the game that we did, I mean, I think she played rather well. Well, certainly that road was that was quite a big gamble, but it's kind of paid off. You just figure that, you know, she's going to simply chip away with points. She created threats, and there's not really that much that Red could have done about this. And if anything, Red actually got kind of lucky. Red got both her city finishers. Red won the coin flip for the dagger, and still that wasn't enough. So I think Mingali here did quite a good job.
Yeah, maybe that monster move was a move of the week so far.
Yeah, I would. It's certainly a contender, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we will see many matches tomorrow. But at least we have something, right? That was very interesting. Of course, Raf, your suggested move to be the move of the week. I understand.
No. But one of the Belgian players would be great. But
Yeah.
of course, it was not a Belgian player with that move. But okay, let's take a look at this game.
Is that their first game?
No, it's theirs.
Oh, is that their third game or something?
Oh, let me see. I don't know actually. Yes, it's a second game. 71 Knives won the first one.
Right. See. Oh yeah, should be updating the score a little bit more. What was happening with Obi Wonder? Who won then?
I think Belgium was 4-1 after the first round. No,
It's
but
possible.
I can double check.
It's quite likely. I think we discussed that. Yeah. Sorry.
No problem. It's indeed 4-1. Obi Wonder won the first one. And now only five tiles remain. Evil Hamster is in the lead at the scoreboard. 6-point mastery, 6-point field, another 6-point field, another 6-point field. Ooh, okay, this one, but 3 unfinished masteries for yellow.
23 points. That's 23 points. Just enough to equalize the missing 23 points on the scoreboard, but it does look like it is heading the disagreeable gerbils way.
Indeed. Let me count. 14, 19, 22, and 12. 34, so 87. Can yellow score 41 points? 6 in the field.
2 moves, maybe.
Yeah. Can he finish his city? Is it still possible? At the top.
Oh, this one. Actually, yeah, it is. Yeah, there we go. That's the one.
That's a huge move because that's from 1 point to 13 points. So maybe.
That's plus 12, right? Where it's definitely getting closer. There's a bit of a problem, though, that the timing is a bit off. He's going to end up with a meeple surplus. Of course, he wished to have this tile a little bit earlier, right? There's only going to be 1 move remaining. He's going to get a meeple back. He will not be able to drop the meeple on the farm because there is already a farmer there. But hey, 12 points are 12 points.
13 and 12, 25. So 78 for Evil Hamster. Yellow needs 32 points.
Well, he's getting 6. Not quite 32, just 26 points short. He's getting 6 here from the thing, from the road. No, from the field, because the road is only 5. But there's a nice 6-point field looking over here, and I do not see anything better for the player with the yellow meeples. But this means not such great news for Team Belgium, but great news for our viewers, because the game is headed to a decider, which means more Carcassonne and more content.
Exactly. I will take a look at other games to decide which one we should follow next.
Well, I guess the only one whom we haven't seen is Tom versus Santiago.
Oh, right. Oh, only 11 tiles left. And huge field. Tom is in the field actually, so it could be nice to follow that one after this. Scoring is happening.
In the meantime, I'm not going to refresh. Players are...
I did refresh.
Did you refresh? Oh, come on.
But I don't say anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Now I refresh. Okay. Now I can't wait. And now Board Game Arena is hanging. Uh, oh no way!
It's a draw, yeah.
It's a
So
tie.
my savant is again doing it.
Exactly. Well, I think this draw favors Evil Hamster.
It's not because Evil Hamster plays the first tile.
Did you double check that?
I just checked it, yes.
Wow, what a clutch win here for the Belgian player. So
Oh, wait. Chat is saying 71 knives started.
yeah, I was pretty sure. I remember that 71 knives ended, but the question is right because he just scored the thing, the 6-point field. But I was just going to check if the things are if their tiles being discarded. I understand that as a Belgian, you're gonna have wishful. No, you're right. Raf is right. Raf is always right, chat. Okay.
Yeah, but I cannot see any discards.
Exactly. Yeah, but no, but I see. I go scroll down the logs and it says Evil Hamster places a tile. That's the first log.
Yes, but the problem with Board Game Arena, if you restart the game or look at the replay, 71 knives starts. So yeah, that's certainly a thing they should fix because I was mistaken because of that in my stream as well, in another game. So, and if you're a player and you think a draw is enough, I take the draw because the other players first, based on the logs. Yeah, that's not your own mistake, but I feel like the mistake of the platform.
Exactly, but so this just makes me think a lot as a captain. I will need to triple check who was the starting player in case of any draws. So maybe a better strategy is just to not have draws, but simply win all games with plus 20. Then, you don't need to worry about anything.
True.
So everybody's asking for Sandy Blader's game, and here we are watching it. Well, the highest rated Argentinian player is up 14 points on the scoreboard. I can tell you that much. And there are a lot of meeples in the field. By the way, do let me know in the chat how you like this meeple design. As you see, not many of you like the previous meeple that I had for my not yesterday's, but for my Wednesday stream. I'm still salty about that. I love those meeples. I love pink and purple. But yeah. Okay, I've changed it to this. There's just this a line around them so you can see all the farmers. Unfortunately, they're still green, but okay, it's like
I think you can put up your critical tile image because I think there's one straight line left. Or is it? Yes, I think to connect red's meeple into the field to equalize the field.
But does Reds actually need this? That's the question. The field looks pretty big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21 points. It's a lot of field points.
Yeah, and green also has long road for 7 points, monastery for 8 points. Red has an unfinished city. Still not able to finish. It's impossible to finish, I mean. What do you do here? What tiles are behind? I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the last big city tile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He only grabs 2 points. You could consider meepling the city, top left, but maybe it's not enough. Nice Dicer gets a tile, the straight line, to preserve his field. So that's nice, for Team Belgium at least. Let me count the points. 11 plus 8 is 19. I think Nice Dicer wins this one, but I'm not going to jinx it.
So it does look great for Belgium.
That would be...
And for the viewers.
Yes.
Because this game is headed to another decider. The only game that will not be headed to a decider is the encounter between Nicolas Victor and Hernan Badenes, because the higher rated Belgian player just won 2-0 proving why he is the only Belgian player to have been listed by y'all on one of your fantasy teams. By the way, I also need to remind you, while the points are being counted, that I am giving away a copy of the board game called Citadels to those of you who win the big fantasy Carcassonne game that you're all playing. And look at this, 3 points. What a clutch win for the Belgian player. So we have a choice here to make. We have so many deciders to watch. We could just start with this one and continue with Sandy Blader, or you've been choosing excellent matches. I'm just gonna listen to you. Which game are we watching next? In the meantime, I'm gonna update the score and just keep reminding about viewers that if you follow the link in the description, then you get to a video with all the terms and conditions if you want to participate in my giveaway. All you will have to do is just to predict which 5 players, not teams but players, would be the best performing ones in these championships. And you can choose, of course, players from different countries. More info on that. Of course, I believe that many of you have already done so because we've got over 40 participants for now, but I will need to remind you that the deadline for submission is tomorrow, wherever you are in the world. So what's our verdict, Raf?
Yeah, the game of Obi Wonder seems to be lost for Obi Wonder. Only 7 tiles remain. I would go with Anthology for now again, because Anthology plays, the pace of the game is quite fast, so I think it will be over again in a few minutes, and then we can switch to another game. And 27 tiles is enough to make something out of it.
Alrighty, I will not question you, because we've seen that. I'd say that actually the Argentinian player has been playing above her rating. Oof, and now just we start by seeing her. She has a 16-point lead on the scoreboard. So is that really headed towards an upset for Argentina? We don't know, because the Belgian player will sure be happy about his meeple majority on this big ruin. That, of course, if the Argentinian player does not draw one of the 3 triple cities with a road that fits into this square, and that, of course, is something unlikely. Well, there's the triple city with a road. It's a big question, where do you put it? Maybe, yeah, that's doable, but maybe you take this 5-point road first. I don't know. I certainly like this move. But this move has downsides, right? Because Anthology here is preparing to join with the 3rd meeple, and it's probably something that he will end up doing. There's only 1 triangle remaining.
Yes, exactly.
And there are no splitters, but it's such a big coin flip for the city. Well, and the city's big, and the city's not finishable, so that's a bit some consolation here from Blue. But I think Blue was exercising some impatience over here, because if you're Blue, first of all, you don't want to be continuing Red's Monastery, and if you think that this city here will end up to being Red's property, well, then you don't want to be adding any more points in that city. In fact, you just want to preserve this hole forever just to save these extra 2 points. Because like when you're so much ahead of the scoreboard, actually maybe you can afford this ruin as long as this ruin is as small as possible. So it does seem that here the Argentinian player did not exercise some patience, which could have been, which would be typically exercised by the highest rated players over here. So obviously it all comes down to this coin flip. However, there are some other win paths. Even if Red does not get this coin flip, even if Red does not, Red has absolutely way back into this game. First of all, there's still 2 of the triple city tiles with the road that fit here, and with those, Red scores huge. Red scores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 17 points immediately, and gets 2 meeples back versus 1 meeple back. So this is absolutely the key tile, and then maybe Red doesn't need this rune necessarily. And the more I look at it, the more I know what kind of tiles they are. And there are 3 huge high-impact tiles for Red, so much so that I kind of start preferring Red in this position than Blue.
I don't know if I agree. It's, yeah, let me, I'm still making my opinion, forming my opinion. Um,
While you're doing so, thank you, KK Spam, for pointing out that there's only one triple city with a road remaining, but it does not matter because red gets it, and red gets all tempo and stuff, so he doesn't take the 3-point road, he just wants to be the first on a 9-point field. That's actually pretty neat, I think.
yes, I would have done the same there, but maybe with a little bit extra thinking.
Yeah, I know why he did that. He was just like so excited. He was just planning for this event. Oh, it's my tile! It's my tile! Click, 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 click. That's exactly what happened.
Exactly, indeed. And let's take a quick count. Monastery is +3 for red compared to blue. The road of blue is 6 points. So blue is at +3, but 9-point field for red, so red is at +6. And there's not another road for 3 for blue, so red is at +3. +2 now with the road added to blue. So +2 for red. I'm losing everything I'm saying, but I think red is in lead and doesn't need a connection for the big city. That's what my opinion is. I would definitely take my time here to, maybe it's better to grab a big field here or something. For example, meepling the field top left, and with the curve you extend your field. And you could also meeple the curve, the 7-point road, for example, with your last move.
That's a really interesting idea, and also that would kind of prevent any potential flips, right? Because I think there's still one road end remaining, one crossroad, which sort of goes over here like this, and this would allow players to get, well, one of the players, whoever draws the crossroads, to score like 6 points immediately.
Exactly.
Without even investment of a meeple. So actually, the more I think about this, maybe this 9-point field, as beautiful as it looks, was a bit too hasty from red, just because there are other point scoring opportunities, and this may even not be the biggest field on the board, right? Because this is a 9-point field, as Raf pointed out, and it could even become a 12-point field over here.
Yes, I think, yeah. But I think the splitter tile bottom right, if you place that splitter tile top left, meeple the field, then you don't have to, yeah, exactly the move that Ontology is making now, but the problem is it's his last meeple. And yeah.
And this field is actually quite easily attackable from here, from the left, or like from the bottom. Yeah, from the bottom it's actually pretty easily attackable. So on the other hand, it does something useful, right? It does take the most valuable feature on the board. So that's something. Ooh, how unpleasant this must be for the Belgian player here, because he was just about to get his meeple back, but it's not happening. Instead, he'll be forced to sort of keep cleaning up. I guess it all comes down to, will he draw the triangle? Because I do believe that if he draws the triangle and if he manages to protect the field, then red just wins. The city does look pretty big. I'm going to trust your position assessment skills, Raf. Or should
that's dangerous. I'm still thinking about what would have happened if he placed a splitter tile top left, because the problem also with the splitter tile, we haven't discussed it yet, is the open city cap. You're leaving a city cap at the right open, bottom right open for your opponent. If you place it in your own field top left, if your opponent finishes one of the city caps or clears it off, they only gain 1 point compared to 4. So the more I think about is, yeah, and you would also have 1 meeple extra to work with, and this is something that's really, yeah.
And this is the critical trial right here, and with that, probably the hopes for red are not looking great in this game. Wait, or are they? Because red is still ahead, like on the board. So red is not getting his city, and this city is going to be shared. Red does have these 2 fields, but they're about to get snatched away, but Well, let's see what he does here. Probably presuming some sort of block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's still one curve. Nope, 9. So there are no curves remaining, I think.
Red is still quite some points ahead. Fields at the left, 6 points ahead for red currently. 7 for the little city. -3, 4. -5 is -1. With the monastery, we have +7 for red. With the field, +16. +18 on the board for red. +18.
Ah, okay. So now,
sorry,
yeah.
But the road in the middle is also 9 points. So +9. But now, yeah, blue can reconnect, but you can block it.
Yeah, exactly. I think blue had an excellent chance to go for the move of the week and to drop another farmer over here and just simply try to eat up this meeple and make the game 50-50, drop a second farmer, and connect through a road monastery. I think that was really her best option, giving herself a 40% chance for the win, which was completely unstoppable. This, well, as we found out, blockable. So we know what red is going to do. Red doesn't have to slow roll, but this would be.
Yeah, but this makes me nervous if he's thinking about this, to be honest. Okay.
No, it's fine. I mean, you kind of... Oh, she can still connect. She can still connect. Does she know this? There's a road monastery. Right. She could place it over here and then connect like this, but I think she will be only connecting to one field and not two. So if you're going to be hoping for a road monastery, of course you have to do like this. And also now that we know that the crossroads was remaining, of course this connection here was really low probability as we found out. Well, now blue doesn't go for the consent and it doesn't matter because red draws the monastery anyway. So some coin flips here, red's way, but some coin flips here also blue's way because this was crucial.
Yes. This one was closer than I expected.
And look at this, so many of those were remaining. Actually, this means that basically this, when blue was trying to connect, red had basically almost 100% block. Just because all the remaining tiles were these.
Indeed.
Well, good games indeed.
I'm checking other games. Maybe we can take a look at Obi Wonder's last game. We haven't looked a lot at him.
Alrighty, but now we have to congratulate Belgium for 2 match points. The second one of them quite not easy to obtain, but a point is a point is a point, and a win is a win is a win. And so now Argentina would need to win everything in order to win the match. But all that means is just winning the remaining 3 games. It is completely doable. So Raf, you still have to be worried.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm taking a look at Obi Wonder's game now, and I don't really like what I'm seeing at first glance. I can see one big city feature that will probably be for red. At the bottom.
Okay, this game is still young. Anything can happen. Wait, ID, everything is like covered in green. Okay, the city is a huge threat, but I don't think they should be super worried. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Come on, think of the viewers, think of the content. And by the way, like objectively, I would always be meepling this city here. Because we know one Argentinian player who would. He's not playing in this duel.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, let's go. Yes. Last meeple on the monastery for the content. Of course, green gets a meeple back immediately, but it's not something that green is going to be happy about at all over here. because the only reason green got a meeple back is because of this 24-point city, and I realized that I need to actually move the map a little bit just so that y'all can see, my viewers, this 24-point completed city in all its glory. But this
I don't really like,
yeah,
I don't really like green's last move. Why not put a T-shaped crossroad up so it's harder for red to complete the city?
Always. It's okay. I can see one thing. Maybe, actually, maybe the plan of green is, first of all, finish this road on the left, which is quite doable. You only need a curve. Then you get like 10 points and a meeple back, and then you take a road tile and you put it on the right next to the crossroads. So maybe green wanted to leave himself a field connection platform so that green can meeple the field over here like this. I'm gonna try to draw on my screen like a little stick figure. I failed miserably at that. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I didn't have very high grades in art class. And then to connect through here with 4 points for the road and extra value and tempo, I do believe that this is exactly what he's going for. So as Pablo here, do you just thwart his plans and finish the 4-point road for green and give him a meeple back just so that green doesn't finish that 4-point road? Is that what you would do? Or do you have any other ideas, such as maybe harassing green city at the top?
Yeah, there are still 5 straight lines left, so I would take the 4 points here, I think. You could, for example, also meeple the road top left, but not the road, but the field, because there are still 5 curves left.
But red decides to play it safe.
Yeah, but now Obi-Wonder can finish his city. While...
And meeple the road.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
Suddenly I'm liking green.
Yes.
Okay, you see, guys, how important it is to meeple monasteries? Even when they were potentially blockable, actually, in truth, there were very few blocking tiles remaining. So it was absolutely a worthy gamble. And I think it was so important because red was about to finish this big city and green needed to get all the compensation he can possibly get. And he's going to go now and he's going to meeple the field. So you guys, you got to listen to Raf and you got to meeple the field yourself. Had you listened to Raf, none of that would have happened and red would have been still ahead in this game. But now red went from a commanding lead to being behind. And again, like, Raf, you're a savant. How did you know to pick the most interesting game to follow?
I don't know. It's a gift or just coincidence. I think it's coincidence. But I have to say, on my own stream, I'm becoming better and better to pick the right games at the right time. So before I always start, when the game started, I started following that game until the end, and now I'm more switching between games when something looks interesting or is almost finished, because at the end of the game, in most cases, a lot of interesting things are happening.
That's true. On the other hand, it's kind of difficult to make sense of the position. So we see here a big field fight. Pablo just finishes a city, drops a farmer, probably is looking forward to finishing his second city right next to it. And, well, actually, that's his plan. His plan is to get a city cap first, get his meeple back, then get another city cap, then drop another farmer, then just win everything outright with like a 3-1 meeple majority, then maybe finish this city, then finish this road, then just block everything over here. So many plans here for red, but only so many moves remaining and only one meeple. So it does indeed look like an uphill battle. However, I do believe that the chances for red to cling on to this game have something to do with him preserving or regaining control over the main field in the game.
Yes. And you can, for example, but I don't know, you could finish Green's monastery here and then finish your city with a field meeple, but I don't like giving Green his fourth meeple back here.
Yeah, it's Maybe all you have to do is like complete a field connection over here, at the same time barricading off from this. Or you could also place the triangle over here on the left, kind of expanding your city. It makes it more blockable, but on the other hand, green is threatening to block it anyway. I do believe that we're going to see something in the left area of the board. I would be very surprised if red goes over here. Red could go over here actually as well, sort of pre-blocking this city next to red's monastery, because you see there's still a tile, two tiles actually, that left to fit into this square that would fit green in order to continue his city next to red's monastery. So red could just go ahead and try to thwart his opponent's efforts in completing this. Instead, he goes for a move which I think is too passive, to be honest. It is taking 2 points potentially, but it is making your city more vulnerable, and I do believe there were the better uses for the triangle, such as completing the field connection with a barricade. When it comes to fields, I think many intermediate players very often underappreciate the importance of barricades, and you create barricades with city tiles.
Indeed. And I'm doing a quick count here. The 3 meeples middle right cancel each other out. 8 to 8. 8 compared to 8 points. The meeple at the bottom, 5 points for green. The little city for green is 6 points for green. And we have 3 city points for red. So green is at +3 if you ignore the fields. +3 and also +14. Now +12 on the scoreboard, so +15 for green. Do you even want to fight for the field here? You have 2 extra meeples. I think I would not try to fight for the field here. Just grab some points. Meeple the monastery, 6 extra points.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he should totally meeple the monastery and then probably put away the game like this. But you'd be surprised, Raf. There's just so many players that are going to do something like place a field meeple with the monastery right now on the bottom left. Maybe like this. Or like place a field meeple right here on the, maybe on the top left, which is actually not like that bad. Or maybe, I don't know, YOLO it and like place a field meeple, try to connect through the outside of a curve on the bottom right, which, okay, well, at least he goes to the monastery. Not the best spot if you ask me, because he's making himself more vulnerable, and if he does manage to complete this 3-point road, he expands the field which sort of belongs to his opponents. But a monastery is a monastery is a monastery. I see that also he's probably wanting to block off this square, or at least to control this square, because now if red does place a monastery over here to complete this connection, then suddenly green is closer to getting meeples back. But the question is, do you spend your last meeple on a monastery, Raf? And Red had answered this question very quickly. I see from your facial expression that Raf concurs.
I would not do it here, I think. No. Because you need cities or city caps to get tiles back. And only city tiles, so yeah. What I'm thinking is with the monastery for green, last move, maybe green is thinking about not connecting the field to the with the big field. So in that case, he only loses a 12-point field. If red then finishes the city middle left, he can block the field connection and be 1 versus 1 in another field, which is okay. He can lose 12 points because he was 15 points ahead earlier. And he has a monastery extra, so that could be an option, I think.
It's certainly strategically, it looks sound, and it does seem that this is what green is going for. I'm kind of surprised by this move by green, especially played so quickly. It does seem to add 1 point to red. Well, it indirectly adds 1 point to green, but green has to draw that tile first. Okay, it's not guaranteed that he's going to get this triangle. Probably going to see some sort of 3-point road from Pablo here, or maybe Pablo can choose to connect the field first. But however, I might wait. Oh, but of course Pablo wants to get the one remaining city cap that fits over here. Not only this would give him 4 points and a meeple back, this would give him extra 3 field points. So he's certainly looking forward to seeing this tile.
Yes. Maybe the idea for the big city tile was that green will add those points anyway to his total. Not 2 of them, but only 1. Because he can extend this city maybe with one of the remaining Dorito tiles with the road.
If he gets them.
If he gets them, yes. And there
Still
are
75.
I think,
They're 2.
75%, yes.
Yeah. So 75%. But now we will see. It's a strategic decision for Red, and Red decides to go for it. Red wants to unify the fields. Interesting that Obi Wonder just indirectly building his city. That's kind of a neat idea right there. And what's an interesting position? We have a rodent tile and no places to score 2 points. But I think I know just the use for this tile. How about, Raf, if we take this tile, the Crossroads tile, and simply drop it right here, just to eliminate a field connection opportunity for your opponents. Facing with the city cap probably upwards, and in case we win the flip for the city cap, we score 4 points next to green's monastery and kind of harass that monastery. Not harass, but downright abuse that monastery.
That's a great move, I think. That's a great move.
The question is, will Red find it? Does Red want to end up in the move of the week segment or not? Okay, to be honest, I don't think it's that good. It's just like a normal move. I like it though. It's probably it's the best that I can find. There's another alternative. You could probably place it on the very far right over here, and just block a potential field entry and 3-point road as well.
What about getting 2 points for the road anyway? There, indeed, exactly the move I wanted to say.
Exactly. I somehow kind of overlooked, but the reason I overlooked that is I completely ignored that spot because it makes the city so vulnerable.
Yeah, but it adds 1 extra city cap in the field. And yeah, but I think that Red here thinks he is currently ahead, and I don't think it is the case. Or is it?
Red certainly did spend his sweet time. Actually, I like Red's time management. He kind of kept comfortably some 45 seconds for himself. Now he's going to have over a minute, and he's probably will be able to make an easier move now, probably blocking the city cap up top, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of very difficult to recommend something with a straight line. In the previous move, we saw a block, and because of the timing, we can definitely tell that Obi Wonder was considering dropping his last field meeple, which honestly is not such a bad move with 14 tiles remaining. So Red now defends his city caps and his monastery as well indirectly, even though this monastery doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. It's all about that sweet, voluptuous field.
I like the move by Red. I also like the move by Green now. How many monasteries are left? I think none of them. So you cannot finish the monastery with another monastery. But there are tiles left to finish that one.
Yeah, you can finish it with a regular curve. You can finish it with a Dorito. All kinds of things possible. So you see, guys, you got a meeple monasteries, and then sometimes they get completed, and even if they don't, they give you 8 points. But if anything, if this tile comes here, this will be absolutely devastating for Red, and the only win path for Red would be getting some meeples back from cities, just expanding his field, then try to connect all the fields with a curve, and then hold on for dear life. Because the downside of making a bigger field, it is more points, but it's harder to protect because it has way more entry points. So you will just have to be like, I can't even come up with a metaphor, but basically it's just very hard to keep hold of that field.
Yes. And if I counted correctly, green is ahead by 7 points. But maybe I'm mistaken.
Antonio in the chat is saying that Argentina has gotten on the scoreboard, and Evil Hamster is the person who won his duel against his higher rated opponent. Of course, he must have done this with a 9-point monastery. I cannot imagine anything else happening. Was that the case? Was anybody watching the game?
That would be interesting. Let me see.
We see 71 knives here in the chat. So tell me, did your opponent get a 9-point monastery or not? Also, I appreciate that you immediately go to the stream after finishing your game. Maybe that's the player's motivation for finishing fast. They just want to watch the stream. That would be great if that were here. Wait, is that actually true? Are you saying yes about the monastery? Then everything makes sense.
Let me check.
In the meantime, both players are completely meeple-less. What an extraordinary development. Red was gambling their last meeple on trying to get an 8-point city, was a potentially 11-point city if they do manage to connect the fields. But now, Green got their last meeple just to try and connect to this city and not let that happen. But I'm so surprised that Reds finished their shared city and lost a point. Is Red really that desperate for meeples? Maybe he is.
I would not have done that.
Yeah, it does seem to be. Well, time trouble. 12 seconds remaining. That's why. It must have been time trouble.
I'm panicking.
I know. Raf, do you want to panic more?
No.
I know that you don't, but I'll still have to say this anyway. Joao is saying that nice... Wait.
Nice dice are lost, yeah, indeed.
Oh. So Sandy Blader, the higher rated player, winning his duel, and it is 2-2, so we picked the right duel to watch. This is the decider for everything and for everything.
Okay, now I'm starting to get nervous. Let me see. How many plain city caps are left?
1.
Do you have a tile tracking system on, or no? Not?
Yes, it's in my brain.
Impressive. Impressive.
I can tell you why, actually, just to give you some tips. It's because we earlier were talking about finishing the city next to Red's Monastery, and this is something that hasn't happened yet. So now we see dropping the last people. Now we see a block over here. Is that a permanent block? Maybe. Actually, I think it's a block for a 50-50 because there's still one dagger remaining if I did not get that wrong. And yes, I did not get that wrong. Tile tracking for the win.
Wow. Let me do a quick count here in silence. 84 for, no, 94 for green, and 3. $87 for red, I think.
So only a 7-point difference. So actually, if the fields merge, this will be just enough for red to take it down. However, it does seem that a lot of things need to happen in order for red to regain the points.
Oh, not putting a city cap in your fields?
But that's green. He doesn't own any fields.
At the left?
Oh yeah, that's sort of something. Actually, that's correct. That's a rather neat idea. I
But
do
maybe,
like it better. I do like it better, but I guess both players are in time trouble because Obi Wonder has only 2 minutes, which is almost the maximum number of tiles available.
yeah, but of course I understand this is giving him a point certainly, while the other move, oh, but he makes the connection. Okay, this is
That's it. Yeah, this must be game over. That was the flip. That was the critical tile. Because I told you there was the dagger, but the dagger fit in 2 places. So it's a lot of points here.
wow. And note that the previous move, Pablo blocked himself because with this tile he could have finished the city.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I think it was a good move actually because there's still one Dorito remaining, and now he's gonna get 6 points, and now he's actually in all likelihood
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
but he's gonna merge the fields now, and it's gonna be completely tied. So all this work building the fields for red will succumb to the ruthless meeple advantage, the long-term meeple advantage of green, which green managed to utilize and just undo all the work that red was doing. That's sometimes how it happens in Carcassonne. Red could still get the city thingy, and they do, but it does not seem to me that this is going to be enough for it's going to be surprisingly close. It's going to be like super close, because with this move he's really thinking if it's worth giving a meeple back. 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, okay, so there are no Doritos with the road. I'm not sure what the last tile is. It might have been just a simple curve. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yes, the last tile is in fact a simple curve. So let's say if red scores points for the city here, which will move him from 2 to 1 2 3 4 5 6 to 12, there'll be a 10-point move. Then this will give the meeple back to...
Yeah, you cannot finish a city here. I think it's better to grab 6 city points.
Yeah,
because
it's so interesting because you're taking 10, but you're giving your opponent 6 with well, actually extra 5 with the crossroads, so it's only a 5-point move for you. So actually the stronger move by exactly 1 point is to not finishing the city. He finds it with 14 seconds on the clock. That's rather amazing if you ask me. Of course, 1 extra monastery point will go for Obi Wonder, and with that probably a very narrow victory for Team Belgium. I'm not going to refresh, and please, Raf, do not tell me from your... I need you to keep a poker face. I do not want to see your reaction until the points. 76 for green. More for green. Oh, I'll be saying that a lot. And even more for green. Now something for red over here. A 7-point monastery, but a 7-point monastery for green as well. And it does seem that he's going to be just a couple of points short. 6 city points for reds. It's a narrowly 1 mini battle for red. But is that field connection? It's that farmer over here. And this coin flip for the dagger. That's 1. The player with the green meeples the game, and Team Belgium the match. Well, congratulations to Team Belgium and everybody who was rooting for Team Belgium in the chat, and congratulations to my special guest Raf. Of course, your support just gave your team an unfair advantage, if you ask me. So, yes. But we need to update the score and talk about some other important things, because there are lots of matches coming up. There's the Fantasy Carcassonne, and I wanted to also discuss a couple of things with our special guests. By the way, if you do have some questions for Raf in the next couple of minutes, in the next 5 minutes or so, that please do let us know in the chat. Also, commiserations to any Argentinians right here in the chat. Certainly a valiant effort against racing favorites, and you kept it close until the very end. Mingale was very close to making a comeback and an upset against a higher rated player, and of course there was an upset. The player with screen name Evil Hamster had won his duel against the Belgian national champion, probably with an Evil Hamster. And the two higher rated players, the two 600 or so rated players, Santiago for Argentina and Nicholas for Belgium, did take their leader roles and exchanged dual wins with each other. I mean, they weren't playing each other, but still, as close as you could possibly get. Now, let's see what's happening next in the championship. So tomorrow, I will need to remind you that Raf is going to stream our game, the game of Team Latvia, on his Twitch channel, and of course you should follow it. I cannot stream that game for obvious reasons. Probably by this now the lineups have been published and you can see that, surprise surprise, I'm actually playing. But together with Team Latvia at the same time, let's just have a look at this. So let's just look at the calendar. By the way, also shout out to the organizers who made all this awesome website for us to navigate. I think it's really cool and a step towards, you know, making the competitive Carcassonne international scene more legit and popular and all that good stuff. So we're gonna have, well, okay, Czechia, Germany is not at the same time. Actually, here it's gonna be super interesting match. We are not going to follow it because I can't stream everything, guys. Today was already like at least 6 hours of streaming, well, or maybe 5. So here, I'm not even sure who the favorite, because Czechia has these two huge masters, and both of them named Martin. That's kind of a name that's good for Carcassonne players. Mexico, Guatemala already happened. Poland, Ukraine happening at the same time, where Ukraine will probably be the favorite and one of the teams to watch in this championship. UK, China, of course, guys, I need to remind you this. You need to join me because I'm streaming it tomorrow with another special guest. I'm not going to reveal who that is. Obviously going to be a clutch match with the China being here a slight favorite if you ask me. Brazil, Italy is going to happen at the same time. Also, both teams won their first match. Brasilia looking huge on paper, but they have been underperforming in previous years. So will they be able to make up for that? Yeah, probably they will if you ask me. Chile, Greece happening at the same time. France, United States, Portugal, Peru slightly earlier. So you might be able to follow that in Portuguese. I believe there might be a Portuguese. Yep, by Jogos do Mundo. There's stream. Also, interestingly, there's a stream in Spanish, but don't watch that. Watch Raf's stream instead in English.
Yes, and I haven't updated this yet. I will certainly stream Spain, Latvia, but I will think tomorrow or maybe later today what other game I will stream that day. A lot of games to stream, so but it will depend a little bit on what I'm doing tomorrow with my girlfriend as well, so we will see. But I will definitely stream Latvia and maybe another game as well.
Yeah, I see you've strategically taught your girlfriend how to play, and now she has a Board Game Arena account.
Yes, that's the first step.
Yeah, I forgot. I think, well, it was, I had a poll roughly. It was like, does your spouse or partner play Carcassonne and who taught whom? And the poll was roughly split a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Interestingly, Joao is saying that you're still waiting for Peru's lineups. Well, actually, it's an interesting situation here. That's the one for which there are not really any rules. You're supposed to submit your lineup 24 hours in advance. That's what's written in the rules, but the repercussions of that are unclear. And if anything, there's no punishment. So I'm wondering actually what would be a fair consequences for that. I think like a fair punishment would be that the opposing team gets to pick your lineup.
Yeah, sounds fair.
Or maybe like a milder punishment is your lineup is being selected by a random draw. And then let's say if they can't make it to the match, if somebody has personal business, if they were selected into the lineup, well, tough luck. They will just have to write a loss into their score sheet. So something like this. As you see, there's a lot of stuff to follow, but there's also lots of stuff to follow during the entire championship. So first of all, I will need to remind you again, guys, in the chat, because I know that many of you are participating already, but not all of you. So, Fantasy Carcassonne, right? I'm giving away a copy of Citadels, that's a board game that 90% of you are likely to enjoy, to whoever scores highest and whoever wins in the Fantasy Carcassonne game that I'm organizing. Already 40 of you have submitted their Fantasy 5s. All you gotta do is follow the link in the description, look up the video for terms and conditions, and pick 5 players who you think across all different teams will perform best in this championship. Not 5 teams, but 5 players. So Raf, I've noticed that you actually did make some predictions. So first of all, just an easier question, a sort of, who do you think will win the championship? Who do you think are the favorites?
That's an interesting question. I think it will not be a walk in the park for some very good teams to qualify for the next round. For example, Group A and Group B are the strongest on paper. So we all expect Japan to do great, but if you are with Germany and what other teams, Romania, I think, Czech Republic, Netherlands in the same group, it's not that clear that you will get top 3 in my opinion. So on the other hand, if you take a look at, by the way, don't underestimate Group D with Belgium. It doesn't look like a strong group at first glance maybe, but 4 of the 8 quarterfinalists of last year are in that group. Chile, USA, Portugal and Belgium. So in my opinion, the easiest group is Group C. And if you know that once you are first in your group, you are only 3 victories away from winning the title. So I think being the first in your group is key. And for RCP, RCP is my favorite. They have the easiest group in my opinion. And moreover, a thing I noticed, if you end up first in Group C, you will only meet the first of Group A and Group B in the finals. And Group A and Group B are the strongest groups. So I think RCP, but I'm cheering for the underdog in the same group, and that's Brazil. I think if Brazil can stand against RCP and win their group, they can do interesting things, I think. By the way, I admire the Brazilians with their Carcassonne Brazil project, including their young players program, resulting in strong upcoming players like Teus, Gladiador, and Mouillet. And
both of them in the roster, yes.
Yes, and I'm even considering switching one of my one of my Fantasy 5 to Teus or Mouillet, but I think I will pick Teus in that case because Mouillet will not be playing tomorrow, as I saw a second ago.
Right, yeah, well, there will be many games beyond tomorrow, and I do believe that they will be changing their lineups quite a bit as well. And also for Brazil, it was kind of hard to choose whom exactly to line up because they won their every single game in their match against Hong Kong, so that was something of a performance. And if anyone can take RCP down, well, then it has to probably be Brazil, because they've had played with Italy before, and they have let's say Italy kind of looking nice with their upset, right? They won against Taiwan. Taiwan, I think, is an exceptionally strong team, at least on paper. They have a lot of high-rated players, but if anybody can stop RCP, that would have to be Brazil. In the first instance, if you ask me, I need to remind you that if you do change your pick, then the timestamp of your comment change. So I need to remind about some of the rules of the Carcassonne Fantasy 5. In case 2 players pick the same Fantasy 5, in case 2 of you, against 2 of my viewers, pick the same Fantasy 5, then the tiebreaker is the timestamp of the comment. So whoever makes up their mind earliest wins the prize. So, but then the next question is, I saw that you already are participating. So whom did you pick for your Fantasy 5, Raf, and why?
Yeah, I picked players. I looked at players with a high rating. That was my first criterion. And then players who will be selected by their team captain. You will notice that I didn't select someone from Japan, because I don't know a lot about Japanese players, and I cannot estimate which players will be selected. A lot of contestants selected Kitara, but Kitara doesn't play tomorrow, or didn't play this week.
Today,
so,
yeah.
Or today, yes. I watched your stream earlier today. But that's why I didn't pick any Japanese players. Based on that, I selected Moya from Czech Republic, because from the Czech team, he is one of the 2 best players next to Marty Party. I selected Viv from France and Hotly from Taiwan, but I will reconsider him because he lost his previous games on time. I think I will put Teus instead of Hotly, just to encourage young players to participate in Carcassonne at a competitive level. Next, players who would be significantly stronger than most other team members and can select themselves, like Alexey, for example. He's a team captain, so he can select himself for the lineup.
And I did.
And you did. That's why I picked you, and you're good. So yeah. And last but not least, teams who play a lot of games, in my opinion, who can reach far and maybe win a championship. So I also have a player from RCP, and that's someone you know.
And it is the fact their captain is the most picked players. So 23 of you have picked someone you know for your lineup. So far it's being justified. He did win his first duel. Let's see what happens tomorrow. He'd probably be the heavy favorite against the his opponent from Colombia. Actually, it's interesting how you're sharing your strategy, Raf. So maybe other people might pick up and then outsmart you in the Fantasy 5. So that's certainly in the Fantasy Carcassonne. So that's certainly very nice of you.
Yeah, I'm always stabbing myself in the back. Same happened with the Belgian Championship, where players I never met, they came to me and they said, "I love your stream. I learned a lot," and they end up higher in the competition than myself. So
yeah,
story
tell
of my
me about
lifetime.
it. Yeah. I've been doing that for like a year now. It's basically dropping my win rates for the content. But it's fine. Like, winning games is not everything, and if anything, by streaming I've also learned some new stuff. And if I lose some of the competitive edge that I may have over somebody by, you know, telling some sort of Carcassonne secret. It's not a secret, really. I feel like it would be just very petty to hold on to knowledge and try not to spread it. I'd rather just try to, you know, make the game more beautiful and interesting by, you know, putting as much content out there as possible. And in order to get a competitive edge, well, I'm just going to have to learn something new. I have been learning something new in the last couple of months. So yeah, there's one interesting thing more about the game. So you were saying that you were selecting players who are likely to be lined up very often, but as per the rules of the game, I need to remind everybody that this is double-edged, because if your player wins the game, all great, but if your player loses a duel, then you get negative points. So if you pick wrong, you can actually end up with a negative score for your Fantasy 5. So just be careful about this. Maybe it's better to pick a player who's only going to play 3 or 4 times, but they're actually going to win all 3 or 4 times, if that's something that you can predict, of course.
Exactly.
Alrighty, it did seem to me that we've talked through most of the things. Elias in the chat is asking, did Evil Hamster honor his name? So that's the Argentinian player who won his duel. I believe so. You have to ask 71 Knives, his opponent who was in the chat, but I believe that that's what actually happened.
I'm watching this game right now in 46 tiles remaining, 45. So
yeah.
Exactly.
We'll find out in a couple of minutes. We just have to, right?
Yes.
What else?
What
In the
else to talk
meantime,
about?
yeah, I have something to remind my viewers. You can keep you can keep looking. One is, of course, is the Carcassonne move of the week. It's a series of videos that I'm publishing on Mondays. So we saw one move today, but that was sort of a candidate. I won't remind you what that is, just so that the video on Monday is not a surprise. But because there's so many matches yesterday, and I will not be able to watch all of them, if you notice either a brilliant move or a massive blunder, because a move of the week can also be a massive blunder. That would be actually even more interesting, probably. Then do send me a link to the game and the move number if you believe it deserves a spot in the spotlight. Sorry for the tautology over here, but I've been talking all days and my linguistic capacities are now somewhat impaired. How many more tiles, Raf?
20.
No evil hamster so far.
There is an open spot on the board.
Okay.
And one of the remaining monasteries fits in there. 18 tiles remaining, so it's still possible.
Actually, I mean, I just have to show it on my screen. So just tell me the move number where you're at. Yeah, just tell me the move number when you find it.
Now it's at 16 tiles remaining, so you can already go to that point.
Okay, yeah. So just chilling, of course. Not enough dopamine for the day. Playing Catan immediately.
Yes, I noticed that too.
Yeah. I think I'm not gonna do any Carcassonne today. I'll try to just like do some chores and then go to bed, because it's a nice early evening in Argentina and it's very late in Belgium, and it's sort of late where I am. Ooh, that's a lot of points. That's like plus 40.
But I cannot zoom out because... No, okay. I think it's still possible. Or maybe I'm hallucinating. No, 71 knives got it on the last tile.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's actually, but he still lost.
But he still lost, indeed.
So that sounds like something entirely inappropriate already. Yeah, I can see the spot over here. I can see the spot over here.
For content, it would be great if Evil Hamster had it.
I know, but I think he'll be happy with just the win.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, looks like a very one-sided game, but that's just what happens in his games. Like, I played a couple of times on him, and he's just unbelievably aggressive, like an 800 elo player, that kind of aggressive. I wonder why he's not rated 800. I guess you need to make some exceptions in the point scoring. But actually, if you want tips, so let's say if there's a big rating difference between players, higher rated players, top level players, hate playing against players who do aggressive and risky scoring. Because once in a while, statistically, the tiles are just gonna come, and there's nothing you can do about this. The players whom we love playing against are the timid ones, are the ones who tend shields for blocking, are the ones who are afraid to start a city with their penultimate meeple, that kind of stuff. This sort of advantage you get converted really, really quickly in a variance-free way, and then you just win. So there we go, just sharing another secret with you guys. And also, if you want to end up on stream, well then, try playing more risky. It's always much more fun to watch. Well, look at this. Yeah, just building these huge things. No 9-point monastery yet, but like monastery here, huge road. Well, I guess there was a monastery, but it doesn't quite count. Very interesting. Eating up this little meeple. Yeah, here comes the evil hamster for the other player.
Indeed.
But somehow it does not matter. Well, because this huge field over here, Red did manage to get the majority. Oof, and then another 3-point farmer at the end. And if you look at the board, it's not like red got a lot or anything. Red just got a bunch of fields, and some of them with one meeple. So we only saw the ending of the game, but it probably meant that red must have played well. Cake
Exactly.
is asking, question related to fantasy, Carcassonne. Do teams need to rotate their whole squad? Almost. There's a rule in the championship that at least 8 out of 10 team members have to participate. Regardless if you have 8, 9, or 10, 8 must be lined up at least once in the group stage. And then in the playoff, it doesn't matter. In the playoff, you can just have the same 5 if you want. If this rule, there is a punishment for this rule, and the punishment is 1 match point. So actually, the punishment is pretty strict. It's like a loss. So most captains, I think, are making sure to go through the 8 players as soon as possible. Alrighty. I think that should be enough. If you have any questions, you need to ask them like in the next 3 seconds. But, oh no, I need to know one more thing, okay? Do let me know in the chat who has been here for all 3 streams, okay? I need to know which one of you are the most devoted ones. Because obviously we had a match in the morning, Japan, Netherlands, and we had the game analysis stream in the middle, and now we're having this. I know that Raf has been here for all 3 streams. Obviously the 3rd time, not as a viewer, but as a special guest. But was there any one of you? Be honest.
Nope.
Yeah, it does appear so. Well, okay. Well, the Raf is my favorite viewer. Glavier saying he missed the first. Okay, that's understandable. Was sort of early. David saying you just arrived now. Well, that's understandable. Anyway, if you weren't here for the first stream, then at least you have to beeple the like button. Okay, you have to do this much. Oh, Maria, nice. Okay. That's great. I'm gonna be rooting for you in all your duels, except if Latvia and Romania win in the playoffs, meet in the playoffs, and maybe even then I'll consider it.
I was actually playing against Marian earlier today, while Complex was mentioning Marian as one of his Fantasy 5 members, and I was saying to Marian, oh no, I have to play a Fantasy 5. That was great. Have a little chat. He's a great guy. So maybe if Deus loses his game to his opponents tomorrow, I will pick Marian. I promise.
Okay, we'll check your word. It's gonna be on record in the you can see obviously everybody's picks in the comment to the video, the link to which is somewhere in the description of the stream, and then you can see all the terms and conditions, and then everybody's Fantasy 5 is in that comment. But of course, after April 23, which is tomorrow, which is the deadline for submission of your squad, I will be doing regular updates as to whose Fantasy 5 is performing better. Okay, now should be enough. Did we forget anything, Raf?
Intuition training, but yeah, we talked a lot of course, but
oh yes, of course, because obviously I already redirected everybody to your Twitch channel because you're streaming at least 1 match tomorrow. But yeah, you also have a YouTube channel, and the thing I do like about your YouTube channel is because you have a very different style of commentating from me. Mine is kind of very much all over the place and words. But also it's not on purpose, guys. It's only because I have like 17 thoughts at the same time. I look at the board, I see like 5 moves, and I need to mention all of these 5 moves because I think all of them are interesting. And also part of my mind is kind of trying to order the moves in the order of interesting. And I'm trying to think like which is the most interesting thing to be mentioned first, and then I'm also trying to think which move should I not mention because there's only enough time in the few seconds and I can only put so many words per second. So that's why I sometimes sound as a machine gun. I do hope that you can extract some value out of it. But Raf, on the other hand, is like very, very relaxed and
yeah. In my mind, the same is happening. But while that's happening in my mind, I cannot talk. That's the difference.
Yeah, you see, I'm trying to talk all the time, including when I'm playing. So that's why all of you have to watch my Blitz video that I published like recently, a couple of days ago. That did involve a lot of talking because the time control was very fast. Yeah. Well, speaking of fast, you do one unique piece of content that you do have is the intuition training series in your channel. Unfortunately, I have too many windows open and I cannot post the link in the chat, but if it just YouTube search for CraftyRaf, it should pop up pretty easily. I guess, Raf, you could just paste it in the chat as well. And there's a series of videos where you just try to play as fast as possible whilst also commentating and making good moves. And it did find something like a piece of training that I wasn't doing that could be useful. So the question is, Raf, actually, had this sort of quick playing with commentating helped you with tile counting or general strategy? Well, it didn't get you a place. It didn't get you a place on the Team Belgium, but has it helped you in other ways?
Yes, it had, because I tend to think a lot for my moves, not only in Carcassonne but also in chess, and I reconsider every move multiple times, and I was tired of that because it felt like I couldn't trust my intuition, and that's why I started this intuition training. You have to know that being patient for every move, it has paid off in the past. For example, I became fourth in the Mind Sports Olympia this year, so it's good if you can take your time to think, but in some scenarios you have to think fast, and I feel very uncomfortable with that, so I wanted to do something about it. And in that series, my goal is really to play as quickly as possible and only think for a little bit if it's really necessary. So first thing is to recognize those moments where you should take a breath and think, and recognize other moments where you can play as quickly as possible. And so far in my series, my series contains of 6 videos. In each video, I cover 5 games. I won 25 out of 30 games thus far.
That's a spoiler for your viewers, but okay.
Yeah, sorry, but maybe now you're more interested to watch them. But 25 out of 30, and also at the end of each video, I will post my average thinking time, my scores, my opponent ratings, and so on. For example, in the last episode, 3 of my wins, 3 of my victories were against players that are participating in this World Cup. Actually, 2 of Team Latvia, and you were witnessing one of them, I think.
Yes. I watched both games. We'll need to talk about it in our team training a little bit. Yeah, but you know what both of them said? They said, "Oh, I didn't know if that was CraftyRaf. If I knew it was my second account, I would have played better." They both said that actually.
But the thing is, now I'm close to 500 elo, so people start, doing their best more, I think. But I would never expect to be able to play that fast. My average speed is above 4 minutes, so 4 minutes of thinking time, and it's obviously on an alternative account like you mentioned, because I didn't want to ruin my main account, but in fact my second account is almost at the same level now as my main account. So yeah, I think it's paying off. I feel a lot more confident in making moves on autopilot, even in crucial stages of the game. And also my tile counting is not as quickly as Alexey's, but I'm improving.
Well, good to know. So yeah, do have a look. I do think it's something really interesting and quite unique, actually, because obviously in my videos I do quite the opposite. I play much slower than I normally would, just that because I want to explain everything and all that kind of stuff. I just do lots of talking. Yeah, I've just. Oh yeah, you weren't seeing, but I was like showing snippets from your video, and I was specifically circling the fact in the description that you managed to squeeze a whole 5 games into one video, whereas for me it's like, well, in the same amount of time, it's enough for me to do 1 game, 2 at most. So yeah. Alrighty. I think it should be it for today. I hope to see most of you for tomorrow European morning or tomorrow East Asian early evening. Or actually, I think quite late evening. I'm not sure because now it's also summertime and it's confusing, but you will see everything. There's this schedule. When is it again? Yeah, it's like 1350 UTC, I think. No, 1250 UTC. Yeah, that's important. 1250 UTC I'm gonna see there for UK versus China, and then in the evening for Spain versus Latvia on CraftyRaf's channel. Then
Exactly. Wishing you and your team the best for tomorrow.
Thank you, thank you. We will fight hard. We will fight absolutely hard. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and thank you, Raf. Thank you, Raf, for being here.
Thank you for having me, and bye to everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.